The greatest revenge is still rising in public view. Myra stood at the edge of the crowded industry gala, champagne glass in hand, watching as her former business partner Jacob worked the room. Just 8 months earlier, he had orchestrated her removal from the company they had built together, convincing investors she lacked vision while presenting her research as his own. Such an innovative approach, she overheard someone say to Jacob. How did you ever think of it? Jacob smiled confidently. Sometimes you just have to see what others cannot. Myra felt the familiar burn of indignation rising in her chest, but she took a steady breath and smoothed the lapel of her new company's blazer. Her logo gleamed under the chandelier lights. When Jacob spotted her across the room, his smile faltered momentarily. She raised her glass in acknowledgement, her composure unbroken. The whispers had already begun circulating through the event. Myra's new venture had just secured funding that doubled what their former company had ever managed, and her improved technology was generating industry buzz that couldn't be ignored. She hadn't planned it as revenge, she had simply refused to be diminished. What Myra demonstrated represents one of the most powerful spiritual truths about betrayal and recovery. The greatest revenge is not confrontation or retaliation, it is elevation. Rising to new heights exposes betrayal far more effectively than rage ever could. This approach transforms what was meant to destroy you into the very catalyst for your greatest achievements. It represents a profound spiritual principle. When you focus on your own growth rather than the person who wronged you, you harness a creative force rather than a destructive one. The pattern of rising after betrayal follows distinct phases. First comes the recognition phase. This is when you clearly see the betrayal for what it is, without minimizing or exaggerating it. You acknowledge the pain without allowing it to become your identity. Next is the reclamation phase. You take inventory of what is truly yours, your talents, values, vision, and authentic self. These cannot be stolen, only temporarily obscured. Then comes the redirection phase. Rather than pouring energy into proving the betrayer wrong, you channel it into proving yourself right. Your focus shifts from what was taken to what can be created. Finally, there is the elevation phase. As you rise, the contrast between your integrity and their betrayal becomes visible to all without you having to point it out. Your success becomes undeniable evidence of the truth. This approach works because it aligns with universal principles. When someone betrays you, they create an energetic debt in the universe. By focusing on your own elevation rather than their punishment, you allow natural consequences to unfold while you continue upward. Spiritually, this represents the principle that light does not need to fight darkness, it simply needs to shine. The brighter you become, the more exposed the darkness becomes by simple contrast. The signs that you're practicing this form of spiritual elevation include finding motivation in your vision rather than vindicatio, experiencing genuine joy in your achievements, not just satisfaction that others see your worth, noticing that your thoughts about the betrayer become increasingly rare, feeling gratitude for the redirection despite the pain it caused, recognizing that your new path is more aligned with your authentic self. The path to this kind of elevation requires honoring your pain without being defined by it. Acknowledge the hurt without allowing it to become your primary narrative. Feel it fully, then release it gradually through focused action. Reclaiming your narrative. Actively reject the story the betrayer tried to write about you. Consciously create a new story based on your inherent worth and capabilities. Redirecting your energy. Each time thoughts of the betrayal arise, transform them into fuel for your next creation or achievement. This alchemical process turns lead into gold. Practicing radical integrity. As you rise, maintain impeccable honesty and ethics. This ensures that your elevation stands on solid ground that cannot be undermined. For those who recognize themselves as having betrayed others, there is healing for you too. Your path involves facing the true motivations behind your actions. Often, betrayal stems from deep insecurity and fear rather than malice. Making amends where possible, not to erase guilt but to restore balance and learn the lesson fully. Developing authentic achievement rather than success built on others' work or pain. As for Myra, the night of the gala marked a turning point. After their brief eye contact, Jacob approached her, his smile now strained. "You're doing well for yourself," he said, tension evident in his voice. "I am," Myra replied simply. There was no need to mention the clients who had quietly transferred to her new company, or the industry article comparing their technologies that would be published next week. No hard feelings, I hope, he said, extending his hand. Myra shook it briefly. None at all. Everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. As she walked away to join a group of interested investors, she realized it was true. The betrayal had pushed her to create something more aligned with her vision than the compromise their partnership had become. Her revenge wasn't in confronting Jacob, it was in becoming unstoppable. Remember, when someone tries to bury you, they often forget you are a seed. The greatest revenge is not getting even, but getting elevated. Rise so high that they must acknowledge what they did, not because you told them, but because your light illuminates the truth for all to see.